played a Kaufman coached team, you would expect it to be a very physical type game. When you look at Tom's style, being the old-fashioned, hard-ass coach, how hard is that style to try to coach in today's NFL? Do you think it would be a little bit harder, a little bit tougher? It just seems that there's less of those guys now.
I think
that Doug has lost the locker room, and I just want to ask you, what is your observations about any change in terms of the relationship in that regard?
I mean, I shouldn't even have to. You got to do your job, so you got to ask it. But I shouldn't even have to answer it. I mean, not at all. I don't know where that's coming from, so I don't even want to really expand on something that's just not true. So,
where's the frustration level at with this team right now? As you kind of getting close, but haven't been able to kind of get that first one of the year.
Yeah, it's frustrating. Obviously, it's hard. The hardest part, and which is, I mean, we've done a good job of, to be honest, and obviously we haven't gotten the results we wanted, like I've said. But the hardest part is, dealing with it Sunday and not getting the result you want, and just the next couple of days, like you're thinking about every situation. You're thinking about, one play here or there that could have changed the game. Obviously 3 of our 4 losses have been right there, and it comes down to a couple plays, and so that's hard to kind of get over that hump, and then to get back. Like now, Wednesday, we finally flushed it, and now we're ready to prepare for Indy, and we have a great plan put together that we've started. Obviously it's going to grow as the week goes on, but that's the hard, I think, part of the week to get through, is just because you're just sick. You put all the time in for these games, and then when you don't perform and you don't get the result you wanted, it's a bad feeling, especially when you put the time in. So I'd say that is the frustrating part. But now we're on to Indy, and, we had to put another great week together of preparing to beat them here at home. Big opportunity to get on track, and just take it one week at a time. The start of the season was what it was. We can't go back now, and we just have to take it one game at a time and get this thing going on the right track.
Trevor, what can you say about Brian, just how he's responded to more being added to his plate the last couple of weeks?
He's done a great job. He's been prepared. He's known the plan. Obviously, his skill set and talents, you see him every week, and his ability to really just do everything that we need him to do. Win down the field, get open, create separation, and he's done a great job of that all season. So I thought Sunday was one of his best games and should have been even bigger. We had some more opportunities down the field that we're going to connect on in the future. So it's exciting watching him play and just seeing how much better he's gotten through the first 4 games. I mean, he's still so young. I think 21, 22. I don't know when his birthday is, but so it's going to be fun to see him just keep getting better.
Doug mentioned his competitiveness on the field, especially after big plays. I mean, just what have you seen just outside of him?
Just shows up and plays. Like he makes the plays that come to him. Like we've said the whole time, doesn't talk too much. He's kind of a quieter guy, but then on the field he just comes alive, and you see some of that spark and some of that competitiveness when he makes plays. You see it celebrating or whatever it is, and he'll let the DB know about it. So it's cool to watch the quarterback and to see a guy that's really fired up to play and loves the game.
Does he come out of his shell at all off the field with you guys?
Definitely, yeah. He's come out a little bit. He's just a quieter guy naturally, but he's definitely come out of his shell. He's talking more in meetings, and just when we watch some tape after practice and all those things, and just hanging out with the guys, he's starting to be around a little bit more. So he's definitely come out of his shell. I think naturally just more of an introverted guy, which is everybody's different. So it's been great getting to know him.
Was it funny, or whatever your reaction was when he jumped up and started yapping at Jalen right after the pass interference like that? Was that shocking for all you guys, kind of seeing, knowing what he had done before? You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I don't think he would do. He would get competitive and get a little fiery in practice, but not quite as much. It's your own team, stuff like that. But hadn't got a chance to really see it as much, like live in game. So it was cool to see that, and I don't think anybody knew what to expect. And it's been fun seeing him come out of his shell, like I said, on game day and when he makes plays.
Did he ever tell you guys what he said to Jalen?
No, I don't think we ever talked about it. I don't know what he said. I think he was just letting him know that should have been touchdown and he got beat.
Are you seeing defenses kind of have to start to respect him? And what does that say? Because considering it's just 4 games into his career.
I mean, I think it's obvious that you have to respect him. You look at our offense. Really, we have a lot of playmakers on the perimeter and everywhere. So I think, yeah, of course you have to respect him. We're still getting a decent amount of man coverage though out there with him, so that's great, giving us opportunities. So, but yeah, I think obviously teams are going to start to respect him more and more as he continues to make plays, and I'm sure game plans will change, and people will try to take him out of the game a little bit more, but usually that opens up somebody else. So, you kind of go week-to-week basis on who you're playing and what the plan is, but I definitely think, teams are obviously going to have to respect what he's done so far.
In 22, you guys had a losing streak in the middle of the season, 5 games, and then all of a sudden, light switch kind of comes on, starts rolling off wins. Are there any similarities you can kind of take from that, or lessons you learned during that season to apply to what's going on now?
Yeah, I think I've dealt with a few of these in my career. Unfortunately, it's never fun, and it's like every time it happens, it's just you have to be very thick-skinned, and you have to be just persistent. This is a tough sport, it's a tough game. You're gonna every week, especially when you're in a situation like this, you have to be very thick-skinned and have to keep your head down and keep working. I have no doubt that we're gonna find our way out of this, and we're gonna be really good moving forward. And the frustrating part, like I said, is we all feel like it should have happened already, right? And it's like it hasn't happened in the first 4 weeks, which is really frustrating because we feel like we've done everything right during the week. We've prepared the right way. We're detailed, and sometimes that hasn't carried over on Sunday, so that is frustrating. But I've been in this situation before. I've been on teams where we've come out of it and won. After that, I think we won 6 straight after we lost 5 straight, and or whatever it ended up being. And been on the opposite side of it last year where I think we won 5 or 6 straight, and then we lost a bunch straight. So it's a long season, and you just have to keep playing. You can't get too far ahead of yourself, and you can't sulk in the past either. We're at where we're at. We've lost our first 4 games. Sucks, but you can't go back and change it. So all you have is this week, and you can't look ahead to. You can't go get 4 in 1 week either. All we can do is just win this game this week. So I think that's the message, and that's where I truly believe that because I've experienced it, and I know that that's what it takes to get out of these ruts and to really get the team going and get some momentum. It just takes one. So whatever we have to do, each individual to feel their best, play their best on Sunday. That's what we need to do this week. Keep practicing hard. Like I said, we put the work in. It's not that. It's just carrying everything over to the game and just making the plays. I'm speaking to myself too, and I got confidence in that.
You're going to hate this, but it doesn't feel like 2021, Ben. Talking back to Gene's point, like that was, I assume that's the only time in your playing career where you really felt locker room,
definitely doesn't feel like 2021. Obviously, even in 2021, being a rookie and pretty naive, like I didn't really understand the situation either until obviously later in the season. That's when it started to feel pretty, grim, towards the end. Honestly, at this point, even in 21, I think week 4 we lost, what was it, Cincinnati? Yeah. And we lost a close one, not to bring up anyways, we lost a close one in Cincinnati on Thursday night. We lost on a walk-off field goal to Cincinnati, who ended up going to the Super Bowl that year. So it wasn't even like, and this is a much better team as far as from a lot of standpoints, but talent-wise, and we just got to click, and, we got to go prove it. Obviously, the talent only gets you so far, and we've been saying that we're a good team, and we got to go win some games. So we know that. I can keep saying that, and we got to go prove it. But, I have a lot of faith in this team, the group we have. It's a tight-knit group. We got some good leadership. We just have to, like I said, it just takes one, and we got to go do it this week.
Trevor, Sunday with the throwbacks, honoring Tom, how just with all the history being poured on that day, does that make that game just a little bit more get amped up for just what that game's kind of, showing about the team?
Yeah, that, and just playing at home. This is only our second home game. We've been on the road a lot this year, so I think that is we're obviously really excited to be back home in our own stadium, and of course the throwbacks, the history here. Coach Coughlin being the Ring of Honor. Everything he's done for the team. Just a great man. I've obviously interacted with him a lot since I've been here and done some stuff with the J Fund. Just what he does and what he does for others has been cool to see. Obviously, he didn't coach me, so I didn't get to see that part. But I have a lot of respect for what he was able to do on the field, but off of it too. His legacy speaks for itself. So that means a lot. The throwbacks, obviously, the uniforms were sweet, and just tribute for the history of this team. And it's been 30 years or so. So it's cool to be able to wear those uniforms and put them back on and represent this city the right way on Sunday. And but we got to worry about just find a way to win the game. That'll be the best way to represent the city, is go win the game.
It's your birthday on Sunday too, right?
It is. Appreciate that. My birthday Sunday. Yeah, awesome. Thank y'all.
It's a challenge of Anthony Richardson got a little banged up last week trying to prepare for him, but also prepare for Joe Flacco, guys that have different kind of games.
Yeah, yes, almost two extremes. Kind of know both guys. You know, we saw Anthony Richardson, you know, last year, obviously first game, and we know how talented he is. We've seen already his ability to throw the football. You know, this year. You know, Flacco, we know from last year being in Cleveland and what he can do, you know, as well throwing the football. I mean, it's a challenge either way, you know, and you just gotta trust your game plan, stay disciplined in what you're doing, and you know, no matter who's out there, just execute that.
Throwback game this week, and Coach Coughlin going into the Pride. Do you talk to the team about all of that this week?
I did this morning. Just wanted to bring it to their attention. I think it's you know, in the history of the Jaguars, I think it's important that they know that, and that we get to celebrate Coach Coughlin. You know, and also getting some, you know, some former players, some legends back this weekend. It will be exciting for the guys to see and visit. So yeah, definitely want that out in front of the team, and you know, it's important they see that.
You guys played Richardson in his first ever start last season. Just what have you seen from him, kind of that natural growth and progression until now?
Yeah, I think, you know, obviously he's making strides. You know, I think he's just running the offense, but has the ability to go off schedule and make some great plays. You know, and that's a characteristic of really good quarterbacks. And his ability to run, we know that. He's a big physical guy that can break out of an arm tackle. But you know, he's working the system, he's working the offense, he's letting the guys around him work, and that's what they ask him to do.
What have you seen from the weapons that he has, the wide receiver group? I know Downs has kind of emerged after a slow start with the injury, and all those different guys they have.
Yeah, you know, it's a good solid group. You know, it's one of the things you see too is you know, he trusts those guys to make plays for him. You know, and again, I think he understands too, and I think this is part of how he's being coached, is he doesn't have to do it all, right? And just rely on these guys to make plays, and you know, it's I know injury is a part of the game, and you know, they're banged up a little bit, you know, too, like we are, but you know, at the same time, we got to make sure that you know, with this team too, you eliminate the explosive plays, which they can do.
There's some injuries on the defensive front for them, but with those injuries, and what stands out about a Gus Bradley defense? What are they doing well on defense?
I mean, there's no surprises, you know, and schemes like this are tough to. They're going to make you go the long haul. They're going to make you go, you know, 80, 85 yards, you know, and score if you can, and it's always been that way, you know, wherever he's been, and. You know, there's just no. It just comes down to execution, right? And you know, his guys now been in the system over there for 3 years, and you know, they have guys, you know, beat up, you know, and injured in the D line, but the next guy steps in and does the exact same thing. I mean, it's a plug and play, you know, and they do it well, and they got you know, leaders over there, and you know, we know Grover he's a load as a D lineman, and I think him and those two linebackers, 23 if he plays. I mean, that's kind of the lifeblood of that team, you know, the heart and soul. So got some good players over there, and you know, they run the scheme well.
In terms of health for you guys, obviously you haven't been on the field, but expectations for Devin and for Darnell this week?
Devin, we'll see today. He'll be out there, but he'll also be with our medical team, you know, doctors and trainers, and working a little bit on the side. Darnell's one we got to get back into practice, you know, this week again. Try to see if he can really push through, you know, some of the things that are holding him back right now. And it's just a trust factor with him. I think just going out and do it. You know, Josh, obviously, that we know is still in the protocol, so you know, that's a day-to-day thing, and I want to make sure he's 100%. But those other two guys will, you know, it'll take the week.
And then Evan, too.
Yeah, Evan's day-to-day. He'll get out and he'll do some of our individual stuff today, and then we'll see as each day progresses, see how he feels.
There's a report out there that you've lost the locker room. Do you have any response to that? And would you even know if you've lost the locker room?
Yeah, I would know. I talk to these guys every day. I see them every day. And no, I have not lost the locker room. I think these guys have done everything I've asked. They continue to play and practice hard and battle, and you know, it's a good group. It's a good group. The right leaders in there, and they know what we need to do, and you know, they're not making excuses for it, and I'm not going to make excuses, and we just got to go do it.
And then on Sunday, you called a question about your job security a strange question. Why did you find that strange? I mean, 0-4, 9 of 10, quarterbacks regressed. I mean, there's a lot of issues going on.
I mean, that's a good question, you know, but I think you know, obviously you're gonna go through some setbacks, you know, in this league, and there's gonna be some times where you know, you're gonna come on some hard times. I mean, that's just part of this game. I've been there before. I've done that before, and we've always, you know, battled back. I mean, you know, even when we were 3-7, you know, in 22, we found a way to win a game and win multiple games, and that's all it takes, you know. And I think too, when you look at it, and if you really look at these games, you know, like with a calm eye and study the tape and see, I mean, there's mistakes. Yeah, there's mistakes. Are they critical at times? Yeah, they're critical at times. But there's a lot of good, as we talked about the other day. And, you know, that's what we have to lean on, and we just got to continue to work.
You said you needed a fast start, or you wanted the offense to get off to a fast start. And I know, you know, the muff punt, get the touchdown right away. You count that as that fast start? Can you build on that, you know, early, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, that's part of a fast start. You know, it could be just the defense, you know, 3 and out, you know, getting the ball back to the offense, whatever it might be, but scoring points on your opening drive, 3-7, whatever it is, however you get it done. And as you know, right now, that's a good time to get that done, you know, and it's something to build on, you know, something to go back and look at. And, you know, we had an opportunity on 3rd down. We didn't capitalize on that 3rd down drive either, you know, in that first drive. So those are all things that we can improve. We know that, and we do that. We stay on the field and potentially score even without the punt.
How close are you guys to, I guess, getting to the point where there's the full trust in Tank, you know, especially in pass pro? Is he getting close to that? Or?
Yeah, he's been doing a good job. Continues to improve. You know, you know, it's one of those things too where it's not that we don't have trust in Tank. You know, TJ, DeErnest, guys like that just have done it longer, have done it more, and Tank just continues to see everything and process everything. But he's done a great job for it.
You mentioned the 22 season. You guys had that losing streak kind of in the middle and then caught fire toward the end. Are there any similarities between kind of the struggles you're going through now to that, like lessons that can play both ways?
I mean, obviously you can go back and look and you know, dive into that. I think, you know, nobody wants to be 0-4. Nobody wants to be where we are. We feel like, you know, we should be obviously further along, right? And I'm just sitting there thinking back to that time where it's just, you know, it was a play kind of very similar. It was kind of a play here, play there, a missed assignment here, missed assignment there that just kept us from either, you know, finishing a drive or finishing games back then. I think it's kind of the same thing now, you know, and it just takes one. It takes one takeaway. It takes one touchdown drive. It takes one stop. It's whatever you know, whatever it is. It just takes one, and then when you get one win, it can turn into multiple wins, which it did, you know, back then.
What's your feeling about how the pass rush has been doing? I mean, you know, obviously losing Josh for, you know, a quarter and a half, you know, was hurtful, missed pass. But I mean, in general, are you getting enough out of the pass rush right now?
I think that's an area that we can continue to improve, right? I think we're close. When you really put on the film and look, we're when I say we're close, we're inches away from hitting the quarterback, hitting his arm, knocking the ball loose. You you know, we've played some mobile guys here too in these first few weeks, you know, and so that comes into play. But you know, it's not for lack of effort. We got to continue to push pockets. You know, this is another week, depending on who plays. You know, the pass rush could be a little bit different. You know, but we're close. We know internally that we can improve and it needs to improve, and we got to just continue to work.
A different subject, you mentioned the other day, you talked about how that when you played a Coughlin coached team, you would expect it to be a very physical type game. When you look at Tom's style, being the old-fashioned hard-ass coach, how hard is that style to try to coach in today's NFL? Do you think it would be a little bit harder, a little bit tougher? Because it just seems that there's less of those guys now.
I think it's the way he coached was the way I was coached, right? From my coaches, hard, you know, kind of in your face, screaming, yelling, all that kind of stuff. I mean, that's I just don't know if that works now. Look, you can still, I think you can still be upset. You can still be, you know, frustrated, all of that with the guys. But I don't think they necessarily, not all of them. I don't think they all respond to that, you know. I think just coming to him as a man and just having a conversation, you know, and sometimes too, you know, maybe not calling a guy out in a meeting, you know, in front of their teammates, in front of their peers, you know, just go to them one-on-one and have those conversations. And I think that's more and more what's happening, you know, with, I think, teams overall, you know. But there's still part of me that wants to old school it every now and then, you know, and sometimes it comes out, you know, but I just don't think everybody responds the same way.
Doug, obviously Sean mentioned, you know, earlier in the season the talent of this team being the best team. Is it your entrenched assessment that this team talent-wise is better than the record so far and what they've produced so far?
I feel that way. I feel that way. I just feel like right now, you know, yes, we're a better football team on paper, obviously, than what's on the field, and it's something that we even as coaches we have to find a way to tap into that and get the most out of it.
You have enough elite talent? Like, good and great is kind of a fine line, but everybody has good players. It's like those elite guys that make a difference.
League's full of good players,
Right.
you know.
Those elite players make a difference. Do you guys have enough elite players to make a difference?
I think we do, and we need our elite players to play elite. I mean, that's it. I mean, that's sometimes what it comes down to. Are they going to be elite every week? Probably not. That means the good players have to, you know, step up and play too. So, but if we get enough of that and get enough guys, you know, playing that way, we'll be better off.
And I've been meaning to ask this for a few weeks, so I don't want it to get confused with the locker room report, but why did you rearrange the locker room? Why did you move some of the younger guys, move their stalls before week 1? What was the thought process there?
I knew you were going to ask me one day.
I've been meaning to ask for 4 weeks. Honestly, we've talked about it, and we all just keep forgetting.
Really? It just slips your mind.
It does. It's
100%,
almost-
actually.
Because I don't think it's a big deal, but I do think that it's interesting.
I think when you get to a locker room downstairs, I think it goes to Gene's question earlier about being able to coach players and being hard on them. I think it's good that you mix your team up. I think it's good that they don't just pod up. Your O-line's in this corner, your D-line's in that corner, your linebackers are. If you mix your team up, they're going to bond. You talk about having a strong locker room. That's where the strong locker room comes in. Now position groups can't, you know, position themselves against each other. You know, it's not O-line versus D-line. When you get the O-line and D-line together, they work together, they talk together, they live together, you know, they build relationships together. And you can't do it over here because game day is different, right? You got to be able to be offense, defense, and all that, but on game day. But during the week, where we come to work every single day, I think it's important that, and this wasn't my idea. Don't confuse it. It was not my idea. Some of the players had brought this to my attention, places they had been, colleges, things like that. So I thought it was a great idea, and I did it right after the off-season program, heading into camp.
Okay. All right, thanks, Coach.
Thanks,
guys. Appreciate it.